back to winning isn't easy. So let's talk about long-term disability and life beyond work.
Sure.
Right? I'm an ERISA disability insurance attorney representing claimants such as yourself. And one of the things that I always try to talk with my clients about is leaving their role, their identity at work, who they were, and adjusting to not being who they were, but to bring the talents and skills that they have to the life that they now have. Obviously, leaving your role at State Farm must have been tough. How did you adjust to life? Basically not working and then having to deal with disability insurance companies to prove up your entitlement to your benefits.
Right. I think that the counseling for sure was crucial for me with just that whole emotional, mental health aspect, and then finding the horse rescue and being involved with Disability International was crucial. The dealing with going from working to disability was tough because I had never been even sick, so that wasn't ever even in my mind that this would be needed. I was fortunate that State Farm offered long-term disability as a benefit to us, and so by the grace of God, I just happened to check the box to get that benefit. And I have talked to other people, that are working and say, do you have disability? Make sure you get that. It's a cheap insurance policy because you never know how you're going to wake up. So, that was very critical for my financial mental health as well.
Right. So what was the process like navigating short and long-term disability with an insurance carrier? And of course, you've worked with an insurance company, State Farm, so you have some sense of kind of what it's like. But what was the process like navigating for the short and long-term disability claims process?
Well, and I was on the auto claim side, so the car accidents.
Right.
And the short-term disability was relatively easy. A ton of work, of course, and I had a claim manager, I guess, technically, that would send paperwork to my laryngologist all the time, and had to check the boxes and have conversations with them. But that even played my issue, as they would want to be on the phone all the time. It's like, you don't understand what talking on the phone is like. That's why I'm having struggles. And then it came into, what about an ADA?
Right. Accommodation.
Yes. What kind of accommodations could we do for you? Well, there are very few jobs that you need that are that have no communication as a necessary aspect of it. So that even added to it, and it was very scary because I wasn't sure if it was going to be a covered disability. And at the time I lost my voice, I was 54, so too young to fully retire.
Right.
A lot of financial opportunity was still ahead of me in my career. So once short-term disability ran out, I don't remember now, you probably even can answer how long that was, but then it actually went into long-term disability. And I still have to qualify every year, which
Right.
creates a whole nother anxiety. And I just got the other day, May 8th, actually, I got my letter stating that I got requalified to continue disability.
And so, dealing with disability insurance companies every day, what price are you paying for just speaking with me, doing this podcast? What's the rest of the day going to be like? What's the tomorrow going to be like? What's the week going to be just for you doing this, 30, 40-minute podcast?
Well, thank you for asking me that, because most people have no idea. So I will likely have headaches the rest of the day, because you can kind of see the spasms I go through when I speak. So not only the spasms kind of externally here, but also throughout the back of my head, and that comes into play with the cervical dystonia.
Which we haven't touched about. So could you talk about the cervical dystonia and independently and then in combination?
Sure. So the cervical dystonia is the constant spasming of muscles for me through the front of my neck, or side of my neck, and then at the base of my skull. So I had never heard of cervical dystonia before. My laryngologist actually said, I think you have cervical dystonia too. So it sent me to a functional neurologist for that. Ironically, Botox does help my cervical dystonia, but it can be very severe. My cervical dystonia is not very severe. My head is kind of tilted off to the side, so it's a pulling, if you will. Some people have jerks back. Mm-hmm. Some people, their head is truly almost on the side of their shoulder. So it's very physically disabling. So within combination of my voice and the cervical, they both are kind of pulling against each other. So the rest of my day, I'll be wiped out because of the amount of energy it takes to speak and to find words that help articulate the necessary conversation.
But you also, go ahead.
It's funny because I've realized that your brain automatically tries to find words I can say. So sometimes there are words that I like automatically skip because I can't say that very well. So it's an exhausting subconscious almost.
And then you also have migraines.
Yes. I'm fortunate in that I don't have very many, but you can, exactly. Like I said, Botox is successful for me with my cervical, and they so if a person has Botox for their has my dystonia, they get anywhere from 0.5 to maybe 2 milligrams of Botox. And it's not the Botox for wrinkles and that sort of thing. For my neck, I get 300 units of Botox. So it's a vast difference because the muscles are so much bigger forced cervical dystonia.
But even with the Botox, you just get temporary relief that doesn't necessarily improve your functionality.
No, exactly. It only lasts about 3 months. By the time it kicks in and then goes, it can be anywhere from, in reality, at about 2 to 2.5 months of real relief. But I'll be getting another injection a month or so. So I'll start getting more headaches. I'll start getting more neck pain and just needing relief.
But that relief that you get, quote unquote, is not enough to allow you to go back to work in any capacity. It's just
correct, temporary. And because the Botox did not help in my voice, that it doesn't help me work at all. And with the combination, and so doing like some tasks are harder for me because of the use of your shoulders and your head. Like I kind of giggle. I can't really wash windows anymore.
or washing your hair is a problem.
Right, it can be. Yes.
So what advice would you give to someone who's newly diagnosed and dealing with that, not only the diagnosis, but that shift to possibly filing for short, long-term disability, even social security disability?
Yes. Don't give up. That is the biggest thing. Especially with social security disability, I know I was denied the minute I filed. So that, that fear, panic comes in, but to be patient, to don't give up, to get that support, whether it's your spouse or your family or your faith, counseling, because I think there's a lot of value into being able to be your true, authentic self with somebody about the fears with counseling and grieving whatever that disability is, because it is a loss, whether it's a motor movement or your voice or your hearing. It's a loss. I think that coming to realize it's a journey, it's not a destination. It is kind of helps with that process. So the bottom line is you can't give up. Don't give up.
Thank you for sharing your amazing journey and story.
You're welcome.
If someone wanted to learn more about the organization, how would they get a hold of Dysautonomia International?
Sure. It's very easy. It's dysphonia.org. And that pops right up to Dysphonia International. And there's a ton of resources. There's information, again, on what it is, the fact that it's a neurological disorder. There's examples of different, how people sound. So, yeah, it's a great organization, and I'm honored to be a member of it.
Great. Well, I want to thank everyone for tuning into this week's episode of Winning Isn't Easy. If you found this episode helpful, please take a moment to like our page, leave a review, share it, and please subscribe to our podcast. We can't wait to talk with you in our next episode. And thank you for joining us for another insightful episode of Winning Isn't Easy. Thank you. And
Thank you.